GlamerinaLune, and I am here with Eric the Lizard Man. Very cool. So welcome back to El Paso.
Thank you so much. It's good to be back.
How many times have you been here now?
I could not even begin to tell you. I mean, I've come here and done individual shows a number of times. I think the first time I ever came to El Paso to do a show was probably about 2001 or 2002. And I was out here, did a couple of spots in El Paso, then went out to Las Cruces, and then in more recent years, I've done shows with Miss Machine Productions, who I'm doing the show with tonight. And besides that, when I was on tour, hosted the Jägermeister Music Tour, I'd come through El Paso at least 2 or 3 times a year with whatever bands we had there. So, I mean, I've come through a number of times, more sort of with like a group tour festival than just my own show doing it personally.
Right.
Probably doing my own show here, like solo show like this, like might be like the 6th or 7th time, something like that.
Oh, well, yeah, so quite a few times.
Yeah, but I mean, over the course of 17, 18 years, so it has been spread out. It's,
and obviously you've had a lot of work done. Is there any particular modification or anything that you were especially nervous about?
I think the tummy tuck and the nose preparation is everything.
Right.
So for me, there wasn't a whole lot of trepidation, sort of thing like that, because I planned meticulously. I thought about this for years, design, work freeze, and then it's taken me even more years. It's not like I haven't had a chance to consider it, right? I worked out that it was about 25 years ago when I actually started getting tattoos. Late 93, early 94, around then. So yeah, I've been working on this tattoo for like 25 years, and it looks like we're finally going to finish it later this year.
So you still have more.
I've probably got about 10 to 15 hours worth of tattooing. It's like my upper thighs, and I just put a picture of my butt on the internet a couple weeks ago when we got half of what was left on my butt done. So there's another session there and a couple sessions of the upper legs. I'm tentatively figuring August I'll be done. I want to be at the point where if I get hit by a bus, I'm okay with how I look naked, sort of deal, right? You don't want an unfinished tattoo. Like nobody wants to be the guy on a slab and like, it sucks you didn't get to finish that tattoo, right? You know, it's a big gaping hole in the middle of this. Yeah.
So since you started so long ago, after a while the tattoos fade and everything, do you have to keep going back to get things retouched?
I won't say that there aren't parts of my body that couldn't use a little bit of a touch-up, but by having my tattoos being done well by professionals and taking care of them, I've been pretty lucky in that regard. I mean, most people, the backs of their hands and their fingertips, their tattoos there will never look as solid or as good as mine do. And it's not that they're perfect or anything. For my hands being almost 25 years old, they're one of the earliest things that I did. Yeah. It is a testament to the skill of the artists that have worked on me and my dedication to sunscreen. Like, facial tattoos are notorious for fading. And it's partially because it's hard, like, if an artist is working with a familiar area of skin, like, they know when they're hitting the right level when not. For a lot of artists, the face, they just don't have, how many people have the facial tattoos, right? Well, then not a lot of artists have experience. You get better with experience. But for all of them, at one point, I was the first face that they tattooed.
So, have you ever considered suspension or anything of that mess up your back pieces?
I have a lot of suspension scars on my back.
Really?
Yeah. I first got involved with TSD and Alan Faulkner, who's known as the father of modern suspension, back in about '98. Yeah, I'm one of the contributing authors to the first suspension FAQ online ever for BME. And I mean, for me, it's something that I think is great, and when people get excited about it, whatever. But for me, it's very much like skydiving. I tried it once; it was fun. I did it a few times. I'm done. If somebody was like, now they're like, hey, you want to suspend this weekend? Like, nah, not really. I mean, I was like, it's not that I'm over it, but it's that now if I'm gonna do it, it's either going to be for a big stunt, like when we did it for Ripley's and other stuff like that, or it's going to be for a purely personal reason. It's still a wonderful experience. It's still something that I enjoy, but I'm not like, oh my God, I need to do it again. When you no longer know how many you've done, you have crossed a milestone. And I was like, yeah, it's been many, many years since I could tell you how many times I've had hooks in my back, how many times I've been struck, how many times I've done shows. It's like, I'd rather help somebody else. Like, honestly, I would rather be with somebody, be like helping a group of people have their first suspension or their third or fourth, like that, because they've got that enthusiasm, right?
And you went to a liberal arts college, right?
Oh yeah, real liberal.
So what were you studying there? Like,
I went to Hartwick College. I was there on an academic scholarship, and it's one of those schools that only had 1,500 students. It's very tiny. It's sort of like junior Ivy League stuff. It's where people with money sent their kids that weren't going to do well at a real school type of thing, because you could still buy it. And I studied philosophy and art there.
Okay, so then if you could do everything again, would you choose a different path, or is there a different path you can think of that you'd want to try?
I mean, born rich would have been a better decision. No, because I always say, because people are always talking about like my tattoos and my modifications, where they're like, don't you think you're going to regret that? And I'm like, well, no, because I wouldn't have done it if I thought I was going to do you wake up in the morning and go, oh fuck, I'm going to regret this, and do it anyway? No. like I said, I planned and I thought about it, so I would. And the other thing is that my rule in life is, I'm like, could I have done better? No question. But could I have done better with the knowledge I had at that time? No, I stand by every decision I've made in life as the best one given what I knew at the time.
Going back to high school, what kind of clique were you in?
My high school was too small to have cliques.
Yeah.
If you formed a clique, there'd be nobody outside it. my graduating class was the largest one in the school's history, and it was 112 people. Oh, you playing D&D with your friends this weekend? I'm like, yeah, and 5 of them are you guys on this team with me right here. Like, what the fuck? We're all here. Like, what are you talking to me? Talk to Alan and Al. We're all playing D&D this weekend. So it was never the fucking nerd swirlies and all that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for this. It seems like you're
It's a pleasure.
living your authentic life.
Yeah.
You get to be yourself.
Yeah, well, I have to shave and look pretty for a show in a couple hours. But
Yeah, well, then we'll leave you to get ready and everything.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
It was nice to meet you.